No one remembers exactly when it first began. Some say it was just an ordinary winter night. Others swear the air felt different, heavier, colder, as if something unseen was moving through the silence. A faint glow shimmered over snow-covered streets, and for a brief moment, it seemed the world had slipped into a place between past and present. Somewhere in the distance, a sound echoed. Not quite a bell, not quite a whisper, more like a memory calling out from long ago. Windows flickered, lights trembled, and across the country, from small towns to towering cities, people felt the same strange sensation. A mix of anticipation and déjà vu, as if a forgotten story was about to reveal itself. A story older than any tradition, a story carried through wars, miracles, disappearances, and the strange coincidences that have always followed the American Christmas season. Because hidden beneath the songs, the celebrations, and the shining decorations lies a truth few have ever heard. A truth that has shaped families, changed destinies, and left behind mysteries that still puzzle historians today. Tonight, that truth resurfaces. Tonight, the forgotten chapters of American Christmas will finally be uncovered, and nothing about this holiday will ever feel the same again. Christmas in America did not begin as the joyful, glowing celebration that it is today. In the earliest days of the colonies, the holiday was surrounded by conflict, suspicion, and disagreement. Many of the first English settlers, especially the Puritans of New England, believed that Christmas was an improper celebration. They saw it as a leftover from old European customs, filled with noise, drinking, and behavior that felt too worldly for their strict religious society. In Boston, Christmas was even illegal for more than 20 years. People who dared to celebrate were fined. Shops stayed open as usual. Children went to school. Life continued without any sign that December 25th was special. Yet while New England rejected the holiday, the southern colonies embraced it. In Virginia, Maryland, and the Carolinas, Christmas was a time for large gatherings, great meals, music, and dancing. Neighbors visited one another, families exchanged small gifts, and churches held services filled with warmth and candlelight. America was divided not only by geography but also by culture, and each region carried its own idea of what Christmas should be. When new waves of immigrants arrived in the 18th and 19th centuries, Christmas began to change in remarkable ways. Each community brought its traditions across the ocean and planted them in American soil. The Dutch introduced the story of Sinterklaas, a saintly figure dressed in red who rewarded good children. The Germans brought evergreen trees into the home and decorated them with candles, apples, and later glass ornaments. They also shared gingerbread houses, festive markets, and the warm glow of Christmas lights. Irish immigrants placed candles in their windows, symbols of welcome and hospitality that could guide travelers on a cold winter night. Scandinavians brought wreaths, Yule celebrations, and the idea that evergreen plants represented life during the darkest time of the year. Slowly, these traditions blended together. Christmas in America transformed from a day of controversy into a season that united many cultures, beliefs, and customs. But one of the most dramatic Christmas moments in American history came long before the holiday was widely accepted. In the winter of 1776, during the darkest days of the American Revolution, George Washington and his exhausted army camped along the icy banks of the Delaware River. Snow and freezing rain fell relentlessly. Many of the soldiers had no shoes, only rags wrapped around their feet. Food was scarce. Morale was nearly gone. The revolution seemed close to collapsing. Washington knew that if he did not act, the fight for independence might be lost forever. On Christmas night, he made a bold decision. Instead of resting, instead of retreating, he ordered his army to cross the frozen Delaware River and launch a surprise attack on the Hessian troops stationed in Trenton. The soldiers moved in silence, pushing their boats through chunks of ice as the storm grew worse. The wind was so strong that it knocked men off balance. Yet against all odds, the crossing succeeded. When the American forces reached Trenton, the Hessians were completely unprepared. The battle that followed was swift and decisive, giving the Continental Army a vital victory and restoring hope to the entire nation. That Christmas night became one of the most legendary moments in American history, a symbol of perseverance and bravery in the face of overwhelming hardship. As the young nation grew, so did the holiday. In the early 1800s, writers and artists began shaping a new vision of Christmas that blended old traditions with fresh American imagination. In 1823, a poem appeared anonymously in a New York newspaper. It was titled "A Visit from St. Nicholas." Today, it is better known as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." The poem introduced a new kind of Santa Claus, cheerful, magical, traveling through the night in a sleigh pulled by reindeer. He was no longer a solemn European saint, but a lively, joyful figure uniquely suited to American culture. Later in the century, the artist Thomas Nast expanded this image even further. He created illustrations of Santa that showed him living at the North Pole, making toys in a workshop, keeping lists of children's names, and delivering gifts to homes across the country. Piece by piece, the Santa Claus legend grew, and with it, the modern spirit of Christmas that emphasized generosity, wonder, and imagination. By the mid-19th century, Christmas traditions were becoming more familiar across the country. Families gathered around decorated trees. Children hung stockings above the fireplace. Communities sang carols, exchanged handmade gifts, and prepared festive meals. Newspapers printed stories about Christmas miracles, while magazines published recipes and illustrations that shaped the holiday's atmosphere in American homes. Christmas was no longer seen as controversial or improper. It was becoming a cherished day of togetherness, warmth, and celebration. But it was the influence of literature that truly shaped the heart of the American Christmas. In 1843, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol reached the United States. The story of Ebenezer Scrooge, the ghosts of Christmas, and the message of compassion and redemption resonated deeply with Americans. The book encouraged generosity toward the poor, kindness toward neighbors, and the belief that Christmas was a time for transformation. Its ideas spread quickly, inspiring charitable societies, food drives, and community gatherings. The themes of Dickens' work became permanent elements of the American holiday spirit. By the end of the 19th century, Christmas had fully taken root in American culture. It was celebrated in cities and rural towns, in immigrant neighborhoods and old colonial families alike. The holiday had grown from scattered traditions into a shared national experience. It was now a season that blended old-world customs, new American ideas, and a deep desire for hope and renewal. As the United States entered the second half of the 19th century, Christmas continued to evolve. The country was growing rapidly, stretching westward, building railroads, creating new towns and new identities. In this era of transformation, Christmas became a powerful symbol of comfort and stability. Families who moved across great distances kept their traditions as a way to feel connected to their old homes. Letters sent across the country often included descriptions of holiday meals, homemade gifts, and the small joys that made life in unfamiliar places feel warmer. Even in the rough environment of frontier settlements, people found ways to celebrate using simple decorations, handmade toys, and community gatherings. A small pine tree might be cut from a nearby forest, covered with strings of popcorn, dried fruit, or paper ornaments. The earliest Christmas traditions of pioneer life were modest, but they carried a sense of hope that tied communities together. During the Civil War, Christmas took on a deeper emotional meaning. Families were divided, soldiers fought far from home, and the future of the nation was uncertain. Many letters written during those years described the longing for a peaceful holiday and the pain of missing loved ones. Yet, even in wartime, people tried to keep the spirit of Christmas alive. Soldiers shared food when they could, built small evergreen shelters, and exchanged simple gifts. Newspapers published holiday poems, and political cartoons included images of Santa, bringing comfort to children who had lost their fathers to the war. Christmas became a time when people imagined the possibility of peace, even in the midst of conflict. The traditions that survived the Civil War emerged with new strength, shaped by the desire to rebuild family bonds and heal a wounded nation. After the war ended, Christmas quickly became one of the most important holidays in the country. By the late 19th century, cities began hosting festive markets, department stores decorated their windows, and families eagerly prepared for the season each year. With industrial growth came new opportunities. Mass production allowed toys, decorations, and gifts to become accessible to more households. Glass ornaments arrived from Germany in large shipments. Artificial trees began to appear in catalogs. Holiday cards, introduced in England, became popular in the United States as printing technology improved. Families sent cards across great distances, strengthening connections and spreading holiday cheer. The idea of Christmas as a season of giving grew stronger during this time. Charitable organizations collected food and clothing for families in need. Churches organized community meals. Newspapers published stories encouraging generosity, reminding people that the true meaning of Christmas was found in kindness. The spirit of giving, once influenced by European traditions and the moral lessons of literature, became an essential part of the American holiday identity. As the 20th century began, Christmas took on a new dimension. Technology was transforming everyday life, and with it, the way people experienced holidays. Electric lights became available, replacing delicate candles on Christmas trees. Towns and cities began illuminating streets, churches, and public squares with glowing strands of lights that sparkled through winter nights. Families decorated their homes with electric stars, wreaths, and colorful bulbs. The warm glow of Christmas lights became a defining image of the season in America. The rise of radio and eventually cinema had a major influence as well. Christmas music spread across the country through radio broadcasts, filling homes with new carols and festive melodies. Families gathered around the radio to listen to holiday programs, stories, and live performances. When movies became popular, Christmas stories found a new home on the big screen. Films presented heartwarming tales of love, nostalgia, and family unity. These stories shaped how people imagined the holiday and reinforced its central themes of kindness, reflection, and joy. But perhaps no era shaped American Christmas more dramatically than the years surrounding World War II. Millions of Americans were overseas, separated from families, living in uncertainty. For soldiers stationed far from home, Christmas represented a longing for peaceful days and the comfort of ordinary life. Many wrote letters describing how much they missed their family's traditions. The smell of pine trees, the taste of homemade meals, the sound of familiar carols. Their words reveal how powerful those memories were, and how deeply the idea of Christmas was tied to home. Back in the United States, families hung blue and gold stars in their windows, symbolizing loved ones serving in the war. Communities came together to support one another. People rationed supplies but still found ways to celebrate with modest decorations and simple gifts. Christmas during the war became a season of endurance and hope. When the war finally ended, the celebrations that followed were filled with emotion, gratitude, and relief. The return to normal life brought a renewed appreciation for family gatherings and holiday traditions. This post-war period marked the beginning of what many people call the classic American Christmas, the version that appears in songs, movies, and memories from the mid-20th century. The 1950s introduced many traditions that remain popular today. Suburban neighborhoods decorated their homes with bright lights. Families placed aluminum trees or evergreen pines in their living rooms and adorned them with shiny ornaments. Televisions broadcast holiday specials that quickly became beloved favorites. Songs like White Christmas, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and the Christmas song filled the airwaves, creating a soundtrack that still defines the season. Baking cookies, exchanging gifts, writing letters to Santa, and hosting family dinners became more widespread than ever. These traditions, influenced by prosperity, technology, and a desire for stability after years of conflict, created a nostalgic and enduring image of the American holiday. As the decades passed, Christmas continued to adapt. The cultural diversity of America brought new flavors, new customs, and new interpretations of the season. Families of many backgrounds created their own holiday blends, combining old country traditions with American ones. Households celebrated with foods from around the world. Some included customs such as Las Posadas, St. Lucia Day, Hanukkah celebrations alongside Christmas, or other winter holiday practices that enriched the season with variety and meaning. The American Christmas became not one single tradition, but a collection of stories shaped by each family's heritage, beliefs, and personal history. By the end of the 20th century, Christmas had grown into a season that stretched far beyond a single day. Holiday parades, winter festivals, community light displays, charity drives, and musical performances filled the month of December. Businesses hung decorations, schools organized concerts, and towns across the country lit up their main streets. The season became a time of nostalgia, generosity, creativity, and reflection. Even as the world changed with new technologies, new challenges, and new ways of connecting, Christmas in America remained a symbol of warmth. Families might decorate with modern LED lights, send digital cards, or watch movies on streaming platforms, but the heart of the holiday stayed the same. The values of togetherness, kindness, remembrance, and hope continued to define the season. The American Christmas, shaped over centuries by immigrants, wars, cultural shifts, literature, technology, and personal stories, became something unique. It became a celebration not limited to any single region, faith, or tradition, but a shared experience enriched by diversity. It grew into a national season that encouraged people to pause, reconnect, and appreciate the people they love. As America entered the late 20th century, Christmas found itself at the center of a rapidly changing culture. New technologies, shifting family structures, and the rise of global communication all influenced how people experienced the holiday season. Yet despite these changes, Christmas continued to serve as a moment of pause, a time when people stepped back from the rush of everyday life to reflect, reconnect, and celebrate. In the 1970s and 1980s, holiday traditions blended old and new in surprising ways. Families still gathered around decorated trees, but now those trees were often filled with brightly colored plastic ornaments, blinking electric lights, and handmade crafts from school classrooms. Television became a major force in shaping the holiday spirit. Animated specials, holiday comedies, and dramatic Christmas stories became annual traditions. Families looked forward to watching their favorite programs year after year, creating memories that would last across generations. The sound of vinyl records and later cassette tapes filled living rooms with Christmas music that ranged from classic carols to modern pop songs. Each year added new voices to the soundtrack of the season, expanding the emotional range of holiday celebrations. Christmas shopping also experienced dramatic transformation. Shopping malls grew into central gathering places where people walked through decorated hallways, listened to festive music, and visited larger-than-life Santa Claus displays. For many families, visiting Santa at the mall became a treasured tradition. Children waited eagerly for their turn to share their wishes, while parents captured photographs that would be cherished for years. Catalogs played a major role as well, arriving in mailboxes with pages filled with toys, clothes, and decorations. Children circled items they hoped to receive, creating excitement and anticipation throughout the month of December. The holiday season also inspired creative displays of lights and decoration across neighborhoods. Some families covered their homes with glowing decorations, creating elaborate scenes that attracted visitors from near and far. These displays often became a point of community pride. Neighbors organized contests, families drove through streets to admire the lights, and entire towns participated in decorating competitions. Through these displays, Christmas lights became more than decoration. They became a symbol of joy, creativity, and shared celebration. The 1990s and early 2000s brought even more change. The rise of the internet transformed how people communicated during the holidays. Emails and digital messages joined traditional holiday cards, connecting families across long distances more easily than ever. Online shopping emerged, offering new convenience to those who preferred to avoid crowded stores. This period also saw the release of new Christmas movies and songs that quickly became part of the cultural landscape. Some were humorous, some sentimental, and some aimed at children, but all contributed to the growing tapestry of American Christmas traditions. The early 21st century also introduced a renewed emphasis on multicultural celebrations. As the United States continued to embrace its diversity, Christmas became a season in which many cultural backgrounds intertwined. Families celebrated with foods from their heritage: Italian feasts, Hispanic tamales, Filipino noodles, Caribbean fruitcakes, German cookies, Middle Eastern pastries, and more. The holiday became an opportunity to share traditions, pass down recipes, and explore cultural roots. Many families combined their Christmas celebrations with other winter holidays, such as Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or New Year festivals, creating a richer and more inclusive holiday season. Community events also grew in significance. Cities and towns organized tree lighting ceremonies, winter markets, ice skating events, and parades. These gatherings brought people together, creating a sense of belonging and unity. School concerts, church plays, charity drives, and neighborhood parties added layers of meaning to the season. Through these traditions, the American Christmas became a collective experience, celebrated not only in private homes but throughout public life. Charity became an even more central part of the season as well. Families donated food, clothing, and gifts to shelters and organizations that supported people in need. Toy drives filled boxes with presents for children. Volunteers served meals to the homeless, visited nursing homes, and reached out to those who might otherwise be alone. The idea that Christmas was a time for generosity strengthened year by year, reinforcing the belief that kindness should extend beyond one's own household. In modern times, the meaning of Christmas continues to evolve. Many families celebrate with a mix of traditions, some passed down for generations, others newly invented. Some gather for large meals, while others travel during the holidays. Some exchange gifts in big celebrations. Others prefer small, simple moments of connection. Technology now plays a huge role, allowing families to video chat with loved ones who live far away. Social media shares holiday memories instantly, connecting people across continents. And yet, despite all the innovations and changes, the heart of the American Christmas remains deeply familiar. Families still decorate trees with ornaments that tell stories from the past. Children still wake up with excitement on Christmas morning. Songs that were written decades ago still fill homes with warmth. Communities still gather to share light, food, and companionship. Christmas continues to be a season defined by reflection, unity, and the quiet hope that life can be filled with moments of beauty and meaning. At its core, the American Christmas is not a single tradition but a living blend of countless influences: immigrant customs, historical events, stories passed down through generations, and new practices shaped by each era. It is a celebration strengthened by diversity, enriched by memory, and carried forward by the desire to create joy for others. From small rural towns to large urban centers, from warm coastal regions to snowy mountain communities, people across the country make the holiday their own in ways that reflect who they are, where they come from, and what they love. The American Christmas continues to grow, change, and adapt with each generation. New songs will be written, new stories will be told, new traditions will be created. But the timeless elements, generosity, family, remembrance, and hope, remain constant. These values are what give the holiday its power, its beauty, and its lasting presence in the hearts of millions. Christmas in America, shaped by centuries of history, continues to shine as a season of light, connection, and the belief that even in the coldest days of winter, warmth can always be found.